It's early July, so you know what that means. That's right, I'm going to take a look at how the real estate market did in June. Stick around. Hi, welcome back. My name's Joe Brown, and I'm a realtor with Century 21 Lists with Beggins, located in South Tampa. Thank you so much for being here with me today. So if you watched my video last week where I gave an update about homeowners insurance, I gave a preview that I'm going to talk about the real estate market in June. And if you've been with me before, I beg your patience. If you're new, just to let you know, I talk about the 5 zip codes of South Tampa, which is 33606, 609, 611, 616, and 33629. That's really the zip codes in the peninsula. So, and I like to give a 2-month comparison, so just so you can see some trends. But stick around to the end, because I'm going to look at some data over the past year, what the market's done since last June. Some of that is very surprising. Surprising to me. Hopefully it'll be surprising to you too. So let me put my handy dandy chart up here. I was going to make this red just because it has been so dang hot, but red wouldn't show up very well here. So I went with blue. Cool. Think about ice. So that's why I chose blue. So take a look at active listings. Active listings has gone up, which is a good thing, because if you remember last month, listings has gone down, and it had gone down for a couple months in a row. We see a slight uptick. So that's something we just have to keep watch on. But here's the other question, right? How many people are saying, okay, I'm going to sell my house? Now, last month in May, it was down to 225, right? Yeah, 225. And I said the average is about 250 per month. But you know what? We went up to the average. We're at 274. So between May and June, we averaged 250. I'll tell you personally that 274 is surprising, because where interest rates are, some experts in the industry are calling it a lock-in rate, right? So, some people are at a 4% mortgage rate or 3% mortgage rate. Well, right now, mortgage rates, in fact, they came out today at 6.81, 6.82. And that's for the prime rate. Many buyers right now are over 7%. So if you're selling the house and you're moving somewhere, you're going to pay a higher mortgage rate. So having 274 people list their home is really quite surprising. As a realtor, I'm okay with that, right? It gives me more inventory to work with, more sellers to work with. It's just a surprise. Here's the other thing that's concerning. Days to sell. You see where we are? 9 days. It is still very fast. Now, if you remember a couple years ago, 18 months ago, 24 months ago, right after the pandemic, we were at 4 days, 5 days. And for buyers, if they saw a house, they had to act quickly. They didn't have time to think about, well, should we do this? Let's go look at other houses. They had to decide very quickly. We're getting to that point again. 9 days to sell, and that's a median. So some houses are taking longer, some are much quicker. Median sales price. You can see this uptick. Now, again, my caveat with median sales price, I don't know the locations of the home, the condition of the home. Is it new build? What are the upgrades? I don't know that. I'm just looking pure numbers. So out of the 215 homes that sold, the average for all those is $700,000, right? You did see I skipped over sales. Sales dropped slightly, which kind of adds to more active listings. Sales drop, but the price is higher. Here's the other thing, the ratio of what a house sells for as opposed to what is originally priced at. And again, if you're new, the example I use is if I list my home for $500,000 and nobody wants to buy it at that, so then I drop the price to $450,000 and somebody buys it, well, that's $50,000. So I sold my house for 90% of what I originally had it priced at. Well, you see here, we're still at 97%. We went from 98 to 97%, 97.8%, almost 98%. Again, the people that were waiting for the market to crash, home prices are going to crash. We're not seeing that. And I don't think we're going to see that because of the lack of inventory. And speaking of lack of inventory, here's months of inventory. We're at two months of inventory. And that's why homes are selling quickly. There's a lack of supply. There's demand. If there wasn't demand, we wouldn't have 215 homes sell, right? So there's that demand for a home. Fewer homes on the market. Now, what happens, right? Again, on the continuum of it's a seller's market or a buyer's market, all depends on supply and demand. If there's more supply than there's demand, that means there are more sellers than there are buyers. Sellers have to drop the home price to entice buyers to buy the house. Well, here there's more demand than there is inventory, and that's what's keeping the prices elevated, right? So it's the law of supply and demand. Interest rates are still high. I said a few minutes ago they came out at 6.82 today. Recently, within the past couple of days, Chairman Powell thinks that the Fed could very well increase rates another 25 to 50 basis points. Now, the interest rate is not directly tied to mortgage rates. Mortgage rates really mirror the 10-year Treasury. So as the Treasury yield goes up, that's what's forcing the interest rates, mortgage rates to go up. So I think mortgage rates, and I said this several months ago, you want to buy homes on the dip. Just a few months ago, back in February, we were at 6.2, 6.3 interest. Now we're at 6.83. I think maybe by September we may be over 7 again. So again, just keep track of the 10-year Treasury. Now I want to shift and give you a 1-year perspective on where we are in the market. So I first want to go back. This is from June of 22 to June of 23. And here's this chart. And each column is a month, so you can see month-to-month change. And you can see back in October and November, we had a lot of active inventory. But since then, it's really come down. And we're at some of the lowest series for the past several months. In fact, all of 23 is really below where we were in 22. There's still buyer demand. I did a video a few months ago now on the population growth in Hillsborough County. And at that time I said, so the statistics are Hillsborough County is growing about 1.2%. Well, in all of Hillsborough County, we have 4 million people. So 1% is 45,000 people moving to this area every year. So there's demand for job, there's a demand for space, there's a demand for housing. So there's that demand for people to sell their house. When we look at sales year over year, you can see the past 2 months have been very active. And I think that was, again, go back to February and March, interest rates dipped to 2.3, 2.4%, and some people were very active and jumped on that. And you see the effects about 30 to 60 days later. Now we're at 70%. Close to 7%. So you may see that lag in a couple more months where sales slow down. Now, I am surprised at the sales figures because interest rates are up since last June. And honestly, my opinion, but it's supported by industry experts, we're going to be in the upper 6, right? 6.6, 6.7, 6.8, probably for the next several months, even close to a year. So for those of you wanting lower interest rates, I don't think they're coming anytime soon. Take a look at the median home price. And this is surprising. So if you look at June of 22 to June of 23, we're about even, right? You see that big spike in late fall of last year, then it came down, and then we're really holding steady to where we were a year ago, right about 400,000. I think that's what the median home price was. No, it was 600. Don't quote me on the numbers. Big thing is from June of 22 to June of 23, holding steady for median sales price. We're not seeing that dip that people really expected. It was surprising to see that spike in October, November. But here is the months of inventory. Look at this chart. You see, for the past 12 months, we are now at the lowest point, lowest months of inventory that we've seen for the past 12 months. And so that signals a strong seller's market. And what I mean by a strong seller's market, there's lack of supply, so sellers control the price because there's demand. You don't want to pay $500,000 for the house? That's okay. Maybe the person behind you does, or the person behind them does, right? So sellers control the price. That's what's keeping market prices elevated. That's why homes are selling quickly, because if somebody's willing to pay $500,000, they're going to jump on it. So some interesting trends in the market, some surprises. I think, if I'm wrong, don't quote me on it, but I think we're going to see a slowdown in active listings. We're going to see a slowdown in sales just because more buyers are going on the sideline. Buyers are still feeling the pinch because of rent. I sent some flyers to some people this week that if you pay $2,500 a month rent, you can afford about a $320,000 home in Hillsborough County. So some people are feeling the pinch. Now, of course, you have to qualify for credit and you have to have money for down payment. But that is a consideration. If you can find homes for $320,000, and there are plenty of nice homes in Hillsborough County. Anyway, thank you so much for being here with me and sharing this time with me. If you have questions, please send me an email. Go to my website, Joe Brown C21, hit the contact me button. has my contact information. You can send me an email. On my website, too, you can search for homes. You can read my blogs. So thank you so much. I love sharing this information with you because South Tampa, Florida living is awesome.